I did not see that happen. I don't, none of our team saw it happen, because I promise you if we would have seen that happen, we would have had her back. Unfortunately, this type of shit happens every single game to her, and the league and the refs do absolutely nothing about it.
It's been a minute since you got fined on this podcast.
I have, but then you see the videos of literally kneeing and cheap shotting C in the throat. If she did that to any of our teammates, we'd be...
The hit that sent shockwaves through the WNBA wasn't even seen by the victim's own team. That statement alone is a damning indictment of the league's culture. But Sophie Cunningham isn't here to make excuses. She's here to expose a war. The moment Sophie Cunningham uttered those words, she confirmed what the entire basketball world was starting to suspect. The Indiana Fever are fighting a two-front war, and Caitlin Clark is the primary target. For months, the narrative has been about adjustments to the pro game, but the footage of Alyssa Thomas's throat punch on Caitlin Clark, reviewed in slow motion by millions, tells a different story. It's a story of an old guard furious that the new face of the league isn't just a rookie, but a phenomenon that makes the league look small. While Sophie Cunningham and Misha Hines-Allen were ready to ride for Caitlin Clark, the rest of the Fever, Cotton, according to Sophie Cunningham, were not. This isn't just about a missed call. It's about the fracture inside the Fever locker room itself. The narrative surrounding Caitlin Clark has been hijacked by jealousy, and Sophie Cunningham is calling it out, starting with the controversial 30th anniversary poster. Why was Sophie Cunningham on it and not Caitlin Clark? It's a question that dismantles the league's internal politics. For Sophie Cunningham, it's obvious. The league's top brass, personified by Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, is actively undermining the very star who has doubled their viewership. The throat punch from Alyssa Thomas isn't an isolated incident. It's the physical manifestation of a hatred that the league refuses to police. As Sophie Cunningham pointed out, the lack of protection from the referees and the league office is a green light for the Alyssa Thomases of the world to target the Caitlin Clarks. The fact that Alyssa Thomas wasn't immediately suspended is proof that the WNBA, in the eyes of Sophie Cunningham, is more concerned with protecting the old guard than the future.
You've all seen the footage by now of Stephanie White looking at the play. Both of them saw what transpired. Neither of them gave a damn. The referee didn't protect the star player, and the coach didn't give a damn, because in Caitlin Clark's rookie season, she was the coach of the team that had a green light on Caitlin Clark. She was the coach of the team that allowed the eye poke on Caitlin Clark. She was the coach of the team that allowed Marina Mabrey to body check Caitlin Clark in the playoffs. She is the coach on the team that allowed Alyssa Thomas to call Indiana Fever fans.
As Lisa Leslie noted, the officiating is tough, but the footage shows referee Angelica Suffren and coach Stephanie White looking directly at the assault on Caitlin Clark. Neither did anything. Lisa Leslie's admission that the play was a bit much is the voice of the old guard acknowledging the violence, but it's the lack of action by the coaching staff that Sophie Cunningham zeroes in on. Stephanie White allowed the eye poke on Caitlin Clark, allowed Marina Mabrey to body check Caitlin Clark in the playoffs, and allowed Alyssa Thomas to slander Fever fans. For Sophie Cunningham, this is a pattern of neglect. This means every team now knows that the blueprint to beating the Fever is to be physical with Caitlin Clark, because there is no consequence, no retaliation from the team, and no protection from the officials. The strategic shift in the league is clear. To neutralize the Caitlin Clark effect, you have to risk injuring her, a risk Alyssa Thomas was willing to take.
Caitlin Clark doesn't allow a company like Wincraft to make posters of her likeness due to licensing. One Google search and you see Wincraft has posters of Clark elsewhere. Any other mental gymnastics excuses besides the obvious that the WNBA actively hates Clark? And there it is. Wincraft, Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark decals. And on the top left of this decal, next to the WNBA logo to the right of it, you'll see Wincraft. Dispelled.
The licensing excuse didn't hold water, and Sophie Cunningham knew it. When Jacob the Clipper pointed out that Wincraft has Caitlin Clark decals, the lie unraveled. It wasn't a licensing issue preventing Caitlin Clark from being the face of the 30th anniversary. It was a deliberate snub by the WNBA. Sophie Cunningham sees this as a psychological attack. By excluding Caitlin Clark from the commemorative poster and platforming players like Alyssa Thomas, the league is sending a message that the old guard, the physical style, love in the the marginalized narrative must survive. The hatred, as Sophie Cunningham sees it, is institutional. The league is so threatened by Caitlin Clark's star power that they are actively trying to keep her small. This psychological war, where the league itself is gaslighting the public about its treatment of its biggest star, explains why Alyssa Thomas feels emboldened to punch Caitlin Clark in the throat. She knows the league has her back, not Caitlin Clark's. The financial impact of this narrative is catastrophic for the WNBA's credibility. Sophie Cunningham's analysis reveals that the Alyssa Thomas suspension is only one game, a slap on the wrist that condones violence against the league's cash cow. Team chemistry of the Indiana Fever is fractured, as Sophie Cunningham admitted that only she and Misha Hines-Allen would have Caitlin Clark's back. This lack of unity directly affects the Fever's chances in the playoffs. If the Fever can't protect Caitlin Clark, they can't win. The franchise-altering impact of this news is that Caitlin Clark is now a target, and the Fever front office must trade for or draft enforcers like Sophie Cunningham to protect her. If not, Caitlin Clark will be run out of the league by the Alyssa Thomases of the world, taking her billions of dollars in viewership with her.
Can't make this stuff up. Then we have Tiffany Hayes. Yapping, of course. Did you know organizations often interpret rules differently when millions of dollars are at stake? No, we didn't know that. Natasha Mack. It's free AT until AT free. Standing with my bestie. Folks, I'm telling you, it's open season on the white girl. It's open season on Caitlin Clark. They hate her. They don't like her. They despise her. They don't want her in the league.
The social media reaction from players like Tiffany Hayes, Natasha Mack, and DJ Carrington proves Sophie Cunningham's point. They are defending the throat punch because they despise the white girl who is taking their spotlight. This isn't just a rivalry, it's a war of attrition. Sophie Cunningham sees the Free Alyssa Thomas movement as a cult-like defense of mediocrity. The climax of this story is that the league must decide, protect the stars or protect the old guard. If they continue to let Alyssa Thomas and others cheap shot Caitlin Clark, the league will remain a niche product, and Caitlin Clark will leave the league, whether through injury or retirement, to pursue other ventures. A high-stakes gamble is that the WNBA is betting on the league being bigger than Caitlin Clark, and Sophie Cunningham is betting against it. Alyssa Thomas punched Caitlin Clark in the throat, and Sophie Cunningham was the only one furious enough to call it what it is, on attack on the new face of the league. The narrative is clear. The old guard, the referees, the coaches, and the commissioner have created an environment where it is open season on Caitlin Clark, while the Sophie Cunningham and Misha Hines-Allen stand as the reluctant guardians of a star the league refuses to protect. If Stephanie White won't fight for Caitlin Clark, and the league won't suspend Alyssa Thomas, then the Fever must find more players like Sophie Cunningham, or risk sacrificing the future for the sake of a dying past. The WNBA has a choice: embrace the Caitlin Clark era or watch it get decimated by a throat punch. But here's the question that will spark the debate. Does Alyssa Thomas's throat punch on Caitlin Clark represent the physical death of the old guard, or is it the beginning of the end for Caitlin Clark in the WNBA?